now, someone in your life is counting on you not watching this video. They need you confused. They need you second-guessing yourself. They need you to keep asking, what did I do wrong? Because the moment you stop asking that question, their power over you is finished. You're not broken. You're being controlled. And the worst part, you were never supposed to figure that out. This video is about the single most effective psychological weapon a narcissist uses to keep you trapped. Machiavelli saw it 500 years ago and wrote it down, but nobody told you to look. Until now. You tried. You communicated. You compromised. You apologized. Sometimes for things that weren't even your fault, because you genuinely wanted things to work. And every time you did that, a small part of you believed, if I just give a little more, they'll finally see me. That's not weakness. That is what a healthy human being does. That is you operating exactly as you were designed to. Open, trusting, willing to grow. But here is the truth no one handed you. Not every person in your life wants to be understood. Some people are not confused about what they're doing to you. They are not lost. They are not healing. They are operating a system. A precise, calculated, psychological system. And you have been the resource that system runs on. Your empathy was not met with empathy. It was filed away as data on how to control you better. The cause of your pain is not your sensitivity. It is not your past. It is not some flaw in your character. The cause is that someone identified your openness as an entry point, and they walked through it every single time. What you're about to learn is not a theory. It is the operating manual they never wanted you to read. Niccolo Machiavelli was born in Florence in 1469. He was a diplomat, a strategist, and a man who spent his entire life watching powerful people destroy those who trusted them. He was tortured by the Medici. He was exiled. And in that exile, stripped of everything, he wrote down what he had witnessed with cold, unflinching accuracy. The world called him evil for it. They called his book, The Prince, a manual for tyrants. But what Machiavelli actually did was describe the predator, so that the rest of us could survive one. He wrote this, and remember it. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Read that again. The narcissist does not need to be honest. They only need to appear honest. They do not need to love you. They only need to appear to love you. And appearance, Machiavelli understood, is the most powerful weapon in the human arsenal, because we are wired to believe what we see. Lesson 1. The mirror trick. Here is what the narcissist does first. They become you. In the early days, the days you remember as perfect, they mirrored everything you valued, everything you wanted, everything you believed. Your taste in music, your dreams, your wounds. They reflected them back at you with such precision that you felt, for the first time in your life, completely understood. That feeling was not an accident. It was architected. The psychology behind it. Mirroring triggers the brain's attachment system. When someone reflects our values back at us, our nervous system reads them as safe, as kin, as home. The narcissist exploits this biological reflex with surgical precision. The practical move, starting today, when someone feels almost too perfectly aligned with you in the early stages, pause. Genuine people reveal differences naturally. A reflection that never pushes back is not a person. It is a performance. Lesson 2. The hot and cold machine. One day they are everything. Present, warm, attentive. The person you fell for. The next day they are distant, cold. You don't know what you did, so you work to get back warm version. You try harder. You shrink yourself. You apologize preemptively. This is not a relationship pattern. This is a psychological conditioning system. The same mechanism used to train animals, program slot machines, and break prisoners of war. It is called intermittent reinforcement, and it is the most addictive force in human psychology. The psychology. Your brain releases more dopamine chasing an unpredictable reward than a guaranteed one. The narcissist, whether consciously or instinctively, creates this unpredictability deliberately. The warmth is rationed, the coldness is weaponized. Your practical move: name the pattern out loud, write it down. When you can see the cycle on paper, the spell begins to break. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Lesson 3. The guilt architecture. Machiavelli wrote extensively about how rulers maintained control not through force alone, but through making subjects believe they deserved their suffering. The narcissist builds this same architecture inside your mind. Everything that goes wrong becomes your fault. Their anger, you provoked it. Their distance, you weren't enough. Their cruelty, you made them that way. Over time, you stop reacting to events and start reacting to the version of yourself they have constructed. The guilty, insufficient, always falling short version. Your practical move. Every time you feel guilty in a relationship, ask one question. What specifically did I do? And would a reasonable person agree it warrants this response? Guilt that cannot survive that question is not real guilt. It is a control mechanism. Lesson 4. The supply chain. A narcissist requires what psychologists call narcissistic supply. Attention, admiration, emotional reaction, control. You are not a person to them in these moments. You are a source. And like any supplier in a system, your leverage disappears the moment you become isolated from alternatives. Watch this pattern. They criticize your friends subtly. They make family gatherings uncomfortable. They create small crises when you try to spend time away. This is not jealousy. This is logistics. They are cutting your supply lines so that they become your only source of reality. Practical move. Guard your connections the way you guard your health. Every relationship outside the narcissist is oxygen. Every friend they subtly undermine is a window they are trying to close. Keep those windows open, not as rebellion, but as survival. Lesson 5. The rewrite. This is the most sophisticated move in the narcissist's arsenal, and the one Machiavelli described most precisely when he wrote about how princes rewrite history to secure loyalty. The narcissist rewrites your shared past. Conversations you remember clearly, they claim never happened. Promises made, they deny. Cruelties inflicted, they reinvent as care. Your own memory becomes the enemy. You start to question not just the relationship, but your entire perception of reality. This has a clinical name, gaslighting, but its purpose is ancient. It is the rewriting of history to maintain power. Your practical weapon against the rewrite. Documentation. Date. Time. What was said. What was done. Not because you need evidence for a court, but because you need evidence for yourself. When someone works to make you distrust your own mind, a written record is an anchor to reality, and an anchored mind cannot be controlled. The
old you is dead. The one who kept asking, what did I do wrong? The one who handed their calendar, their self-worth, their sanity to someone who treated all three as raw materials. That version of you believed that if you loved harder, tried more, apologized better, the equation would finally balance. It never balanced. It was never designed to balance. It was designed to keep you calculating. And you are done calculating for someone else's benefit. You are a weapon, pointed at your own future, not at their comfort, not at their validation, not at the version of you they needed you to remain. You belong to no one, not to their narrative, not to their supply chain, not to the guilt architecture they built inside your head and rented out to themselves for years. That structure is condemned, and you are walking out of it tonight. What you just heard is not motivational content. It is not self-help. It is the mechanics of power, documented across centuries, ignored by the comfortable and weaponized by those who benefit from your confusion. This channel exists for one reason: to hand you the operating manual they never wanted you to read. Every video goes deeper. If something in this video hits something real in you, that is not coincidence. That is recognition. And if you are ready to keep going, subscribe. Not because I am asking, because you have decided that you are no longer available to be someone's resource. Because you want to understand the full system. Because the next video already has something they do not want you to know. Share this video with one person in your life who needs it. Not to start a conversation. You do not owe anyone that. Share it silently. Let the information reach them. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is hand them the key and walk away. And before you go, I want to leave you with the question that should keep you thinking for the next 72 hours. Not a question about them,